Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. We're just getting our sets together to make sure that we have everything ready for the Delta Jones Walker.
Hello, listening audience. How are you all? And happy holiday season. You know, we're coming to you live today, and we just want to share some tidbits that we feel that should be most important coming up to the end of the year and being your financial advisor via web. We want to share these thoughts. If you have any questions or concerns, as I always say, reach out to Atled Financial at 219-513-3710. And what I would like to let you know early on in this conversation is that securities and advisory services offered through Woodbury Financial Services, member of FINRA, and SIPC Insurance offered through Atled Financial Group at 717B Main Street, Schererville, Indiana, which is not affiliated with Woodbury Financial. So,
afternoon. Now that I have all of our cameras set,
yes,
and you have done your disclosure, I want to welcome everybody who's watching to Atled Financial. I am in the office with Delta. Come on over here by me, Delta, right here. Okay, make sure you stay in the frame. She is located at 515B, Main Street, 717 Main Street in Schererville. And it's the same plaza where Albert's Jewelers is, if you are trying to figure it in your head. And
so if you're going to get some jewelry, come see Delta before you go.
That's right. And so I'm always talking about you, Delta. So me being here is not something new or a news flash, because you are in fact my very first CWIT client.
I am.
You are, and
I stalked you.
That I have to go on record to say thank you for planting that seed to say, you can do this. You can step out and do this. But today, it's not even about CWIT. It's about you.
Okay.
Because I am a living testimony of what you have done and can do for people who are essentially trying to get their financial lives. That's what I tell them. Delta will get you right by sitting on the same side of the table with you together to financially undress us.
Yes.
And so I wanted to come in because we are, less than 2 weeks away from the new year.
We are less than 2 weeks away from the new year, and these are tips that I would like to share with the listening audience regarding making sure you have everything prepared for 2020.
Is this a checklist?
This is a checklist.
Okay. Well, I need to check myself. I want to listen to find out what are some of the things that we need to do as we close out, because there's some deadlines and things like that when we talk about filing your taxes and things that need to be done, so that when you file your taxes in 2020, you've addressed those financial issues. And then we'll speak to starting the new year and coming to see you to say, okay, right out the gate, what are some of the things I need to do that I know I'm having taken out or whatever for 2020? So you're up.
So first and foremost, Chelsea, you don't fall in this arena. However, you know someone, whether it's your dad, church member, aunt, uncle, someone that is in the 70 and a half age group.
I do.
If you know someone that's in the 70 and a half age group, you just want to make sure that they've taken their RMD. And RMD stands for Required Minimum Distribution.
Okay, Required Minimum Distribution. Okay.
And that is nothing more than when you retire from your place of employment and you had a pension and you also had a 401k if you were working in the private sector. If you were working in the public sector, you had a 403B or 457 or deferred compensation program. Most people, when they retire, they're just taking their pension and their Social Security. They're still looking upon this as their savings that they don't want to touch and they feel they don't need to touch.
Okay.
Well, if you have not touched it by age 70 and a half, or if you have touched it, but you have not taken your RMD, which is calculated every 12 months, it resets.
Okay.
If you have not taken it, the federal government penalizes you 50% of what you have not taken for that year.
50%?
50%.
They take half like a spouse.
Right, they do. Exactly.
Wow.
So the point that I would like for all individuals to know, that you need to make sure that your loved one has taken their R&D, because it's costly.
Okay.
So I had a client bring his mom in.
Mm-hmm.
She had not taken the R&D for 2 years. Her penalty was $9,800.
That's 10.
That's not what she took. That was the penalty.
So that's half of 20.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
So again, that is $9,800 that she didn't have to spend in that manner if she has spoken with an advisor.
Financial advisor.
So again, I tell everyone, you need to have an advisor.
Yes.
You need to sit down. You don't have to be born with a silver spoon.
Right, so let's dispel that myth. Let's pause and dispel that. People always have, not always, but sometimes have this reaction that when you say, I have to talk to my financial advisor about it, or I'm going to go see my financial advisor, they're like, ooh, so
Right.
you must be in a certain tax bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But I have learned from you, let me show you what I've learned,
Okay.
that if you have a job, if you are employed that pays any amount that you are getting a check, you are eligible, or if you're getting some type of disability, any income coming in, legal, you can sit down with a financial advisor.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I know with you, your first sit down is complimentary, and when somebody's who might be apprehensive and say, well, I'm kind of nervous because I owe taxes or I owe child support. What are the expectations when we sit down the very first time and I just say, hi, I'm Chelsea and I'd like to get started on getting my finances together?
There are no expectations. What you need to do is you need to come in. You need to come in, and I share with you the two distinctly different ways people handle their financial affairs.
Mm-hmm.
You might come across and say something like, oh my, this is me. I'm afraid. I don't know how to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
That's Atled's job.
Mm-hmm.
Atled's job is to show you how to fix the situation that you're currently in. It's not
That was me, Delta.
That was you. That was you. Because it took you a while to cross over
I
the
was
pond.
scared.
Yes.
And I was nervous about sharing my finances, things I had been through and things I was getting ready to face.
Mm-hmm.
And I liken you to all the other people in my life that I trust with my personal services. Like, you don't go to a different hairstylist every week, do you?
No, I don't.
You have one. You don't go to a different dentist every week.
No,
You have one. And a financial advisor is right up there, in my opinion. One attorney, the person that you trust who has your best interest.
I always label the financial advisor as being the person that affords you the ability to have the carte blanche attorney, physician, and CPA of your choice, because they are helping you build your net worth so that you are at the comfort level financially to afford the luxuries that you feel that are important to you.
That is so amazing. And my only regret, Delta, is that I didn't meet you when I was like 20, 23 or whatever. And so that's why I'm so adamant about telling my nieces and nephews and my mentees, anybody young that I encounter, is that you need to do this now. This is not that, oh, I'm going to wait and have the retirement talk with Delta. There are things that young people, millennials in particular, steps that they can take now, stock investments and savings and contributions into 401ks that make sense now, that when they get to be my age and closer to 50 and 60, it's like, I already have a plan. Would you agree?
I would agree, but I can't, and we just did this yesterday. I don't know if it's the Gen Zers or the Gen Xers, because we were just talking about how they come in today and they're like, you know what, I'm going to get myself another job. They don't stay anywhere long. But one thing that I will say about them is, when you tell them about saving and they're looking to have other streams of income, they will listen.
They'll listen.
Because I have a client that's an athlete, so they're being paid.
Okay.
And I had a discussion to share with her how her portfolio was growing. And she's only been my client for 1 year. And she was like, so Mrs. Walker, are you saying that just off of that I made a $10,000 profit? I said, that's exactly what I'm saying. So once again, it doesn't matter your situation, young or old. If you are working with a 1099, a W-2, a consultant profession, what have you, you need to sit with a financial advisor. My recommendation, we would love you here at Atled Financial, but you need to interview and find who is the individual that puts you at the comfort level and understands where you're going regarding your financial situation.
Right, because you even said to me that you also, during the complimentary consultation, determine if they even need your services.
That's correct.
So what are the circumstances where you would say, well, no, this is not for you?
Well, not necessarily not for you, but for example, a young lady came in and she pretty much did everything that I did, but she did it for herself. And she had done all her homework, she had been studying, and she said, Delta, it took me 25 years to get where I'm at. She said, so if I hadn't met you, I probably would have did this in 5 years. Okay, well, because of the fact that she had already done everything, and it was working for her. Everything was working.
Okay.
I would not have changed anything.
Oh, that's good.
I just said, you don't need a financial advisor.
Okay.
She's a rarity.
Okay. Because I wouldn't have said that. I would be like, no, I need you to walk me through everything.
So she comes in, because this was a complimentary consultation. I told her she didn't need me.
Okay.
I said, you can interview other individuals. They will probably charge you a fee. However, you don't need them. Now, when you start going to another level, if that's your preference, then yes, I could see us engaging in a conversation at that time. But right now, based on what you share with me and exactly what you're looking to accomplish, you've done that, and how you're monitoring your portfolio, you're doing that. So you don't need a financial advisor.
Okay. And see, I can applaud you and for that, because there are some who are in business and whether it be in finances or anything else, they try to convince you that you need me when you don't. Or
when you don't.
A car repair, you need this when that's not really something that's
That
an
you
emergency or that you need it. It's just kind of additional.
Right.
So that's, to me, very ethical. But I want to get back to the list.
Okay.
There's some other things. Year-end financial checklist. If you're just tuning in, I'm Chelsea Whittington with CWIT. I'm here with my Dynamo client, Delta Jones Walker of Atled Financial. And it's the end of the year, everybody.
Yeah.
Are we getting our finances in order?
It's the end of the year.
It's the end of the year. It crept up on us. But there are some things that we can do to close this year out strong and get ready for 2020.
So I will also like to share with you all, if you have any taxable gains versus any taxable losses, you might want to go to your CPA as soon as possible before 2019 ends to see if you can sell off some of your losses to offset your gains.
So what's an example of a taxable gain?
So let's just suppose you have Amazon in your portfolio that you bought 5 years ago. And
lucky you.
Right. Okay. And then you have some added income that has come into your lifestyle because of a new job that you have taken on or a new customer that you have taken on. And so when you get your quarterly reviews with your client, with your CPA, now you have an increase in income, which is now a taxable liability for you.
Gotcha.
You can offset your taxable liability by selling off a position that you have in your portfolio if it's at a loss. So you can offset your gain with a loss. But again, I'm not a CPA by trade. I just do the numbers with the financial planning, and I see the stock positions. So if that is a situation that you are facing, my recommendation would be for you to contact your client, your CPA, as well as your financial advisor. If you don't have a financial advisor, you can call Atled at 219-513-3710, and we can connect the dots real quick before 2019 exits.
Good. So You mentioned a little bit about investments, and I know that's one of the services that you provide as far as helping people build their stock portfolio. Can you talk briefly before we get back to the list on just some of the things that you do for clients around investment? Because I know I'm getting started in that, and I'm excited.
Well, Chelsea, that all starts with doing your financial plan.
Okay.
And doing your financial plan, it gives us the leverage points to see exactly where you are. Because I don't recommend to anyone to start investing in the market when the rest of their house is not in order. So we want to make sure that the budget is conducive to your lifestyle.
Okay.
We want to make sure that we have taken care of everything else. We want to make sure that we have money going into your 401k. We want to make sure we've taken care of your risk management, which is your life insurance, which is your disability if something happens prematurely by accident and you're not able to work for a period of time. You don't want to lose what you've worked so hard to gain.
Yes.
So that's why you want to make sure that you have proper disability insurance on your job, and if you don't have enough, that we have put in place on a personal level additional disability insurance to take care of a need if something were to occur.
Are you all listening? This is so important. I bet there are so many people out there who had no idea that they could insure their paycheck.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Most
you
people say,
I listen to you, Delta.
If you insure your home, which you do.
Yes.
Do you insure your car?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you insure your paycheck?
To ensure that it's going to keep coming in. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Okay.
Back to the list.
Okay. And so on your job, they give you the ability to have a health savings account. And you want to fund that because you're able to fund that on a pre-tax basis just like your 401k.
Right.
And that helps offset any bills that you may have for health care. Your glasses, your dental. If you have a high deductible, you can in turn say, okay, let me go to my health savings account that I've been socking away money on a pre-tax basis to pay for my health care needs.
Great.
So if you have that, my recommendation is that you put money aside because again, if you're putting away $50 a pay period, you're only missing $37.50 from your take home. Nice. But you have $50 sitting there for health care savings account.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that you have these items addressed for year end and contribute to a 529 plan if you have a child or grandchild, niece or nephew. It doesn't matter who that person is. If you have a invested interest in that child and you want to put money away, you can put money away to help prepare for their college education.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. And again, you just want to make sure that you know the dates that are coming up.
Okay.
So filing for your federal income tax, that date again is April 15th. It has not changed for 2020. Okay. Sometimes if it falls on a weekend, they'll say, well, it's going to be April 17th. But no, it doesn't fall on a weekend this year. It's going to be April 15th, 2020. I want you all to know that the maximum that you can put into your IRA this year is $6,000.
Okay, I needed to know that. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you're over the age of 50, you can put in an additional $1,000, and they consider that to be a catch-up provision.
That's coming. 50 is coming.
It's coming. It's
yes,
coming. It's
yes.
coming.
It's close.
It's close. Okay. And then you might want to revisit your tax withholdings to see if you're taking out enough or if you can decrease the amount. So again, I'm not a CPA by trade, so you want to reach out to your CPA to just make sure that you're doing the right thing before 2020 kicks in.
I know so many people that maybe they've started a new job and they've done a few or not enough exemptions or something, and they're so excited about that take-home pay.
Oh yeah.
And then on the flip side, when it's time for the tax return, they're like, wait a minute.
Yes.
And so that's what's so important about those tax withholdings and the correct amount of exemptions. That is not something you want to guess.
No.
Because you will get bit on the other end when it's time to file or just your budget. You're thinking this is what I really take home, but in the end, you're going to have to pay all that back.
And what I will share, because some individuals, they are very savvy when it comes down to that information because they have gone to school of thought.
Okay.
And they are happy with having to owe because they say, by me owing, that means that I did not give Uncle Sam a tax-free, an interest-free loan for 12 months. So again, it's just like you knowing the strategy and how to perform it to benefit you.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time.
So we've spent time talking about those who are taking home a regular paycheck, but I'm going to be selfish for a minute and let's talk to the entrepreneurs. I have a lot of small business owners in my circle, myself included, being new to this. So this year will be my first year, as you know, filing as a
Schedule C or LLC.
Yes, because before it was I had a full-time job, but I was also doing some contract work, but now it's C-WIT proper. So I want to make sure that I'm doing all of this right. And of course, I've had the same accountant, shout out to Norma, for almost 10 years. But I also just want you to talk a little bit about the services that you provide or advice you give to those entrepreneurs and small business owners, because they too have things that they can do or get their houses in order going into the new year regarding their finances. I know we talk about, check your pay stub, but just the expenses with us and things that we can deduct, mileage and things like that. This is all a new ball game for me. And that just makes me want to learn as much as I can to say, as a small business owner, we have to protect ourselves too.
As a small business owner, it's a dual relationship that I have.
Okay.
Because when they come in here and they say they do not have a CPA, I don't say to them, here, go to this person, but I do give out 3 referrals.
Okay.
And I'll say, before we go to our next appointment, I need you to reach out to these 3 individuals so we can determine who you are going to engage in a relationship with.
Okay.
Because the financial advisor and the CPA for a small business owner, we're like a glove.
Okay.
We work together. Okay. We got to have the right fit. So I can in turn do the financial planning platform and build you out and save money for the emergency as well as for expansions. However, it is the CPA that is maneuvering us around this maze for the tax benefit.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a benefit to it. However, you can't depend on one individual to do it all because of the fact I don't know the tax law.
Okay.
And I don't want to know it.
I got you.
The CPA, they don't want to know how to pick the particular investment selection, what's their run, what's their yield, what's their beta. So that's
everybody
why
has a role.
Everyone has a role.
Okay, that is so good to know. Again, that need to have the CPA, that need to sit down with the financial advisor, because if in fact we want our business to grow, then we need to know how much do I need to put away for my expansions and all the tax pieces. So thank you for touching on that. Now, before we go back to the list, I have to talk to you about your last column you wrote.
Okay.
Delta has a monthly column in the Chicago and Gary Crusaders that gives different financial tips. And she talked about a trend that I really hadn't even thought about. There's so much talk around how women get paid less than men. We're doing the same jobs. We're like, for every dollar they make, we make like 73 cents, something like that.
69 cents.
69 cents. But I didn't think long term that impacts our retirement. And so you wrote the article just talking about that gap, that we're taking care of the kids, we're taking care of everybody else.
Except
ourselves. And then when it's time to retire,
we retire in poverty.
Exactly.
We retire in poverty, and not only do we retire in poverty, 7 times out of 10, we do not have health insurance. So when you're looking at homeless individuals, more times than not, they are female women. And they could have been working, however, they had a health situation that occurred, and then with the health situation that occurred, they didn't have proper benefits, so that means they did not have disability. They did not have their house in order to make sure that their risk management portfolio was built out. So now they have lost their dwelling. They can't stay in their dwelling anymore. So now they can't stay in their dwelling. They have a health situation that's occurring, and so now they can't go to their job. So now they've lost their job.
They lose their job.
So now they might be at the age that they can retire, but because of the fact early on they were working part-time and they were the stay-at-home mom, and then they got back in the workforce once the youngest child became 18. They don't have a substantial retirement portfolio.
Wow. And we think about today.
We think about today.
Oh, wow.
So I always tell people, is it to your benefit to worry about spending money right now, or is it your concern, or is it beneficial for you to plan for tomorrow?
Wow. Well, that's definitely something we have to think about. I know there are people who are saying, well, look, I have bills right now, Delta, I have to take care of things right now, but I say it's dual.
It's dual.
I say that you dedicate that time to sit down with you or someone who does what you do to talk about these matters.
Chelsea, just think about yourself. When I finally got you, you said, well, Delta, I still can't do this because of the fact I have a situation that I'm faced with right now. And I said, okay, what is the situation? You looked at me and I said, okay,
tell me what it is.
Tell me what it is. I cannot help you until you tell me what it is. You shared with me what it was. I said, okay, this is how we're gonna take care of this, but you're still gonna put money aside and go to your place of employment and tell them you want to increase your 401k by $50. You looked at me like, I did tell you what I'm working with, and I want to do what, and I gotta do what, but your report was 6 months into the relationship with Atled Financial, you were like, Del, it's gone.
It just turned my whole financial perspective around. You can pay off your debt. You can make deals with creditors. You can, establish those relationships, and a lot of those things you do on our behalf.
Yes.
I can recall how we have a three-way conversation where I'm like, let me bring Delta in, and she will do that on your behalf. And that's why I'm so glad that we're having this conversation today, particularly about that retirement piece. I mean, my husband and I have agreed, I don't want to be working when I'm 70 and 75 years old. I don't know about people who are watching. I don't want to do that. And so I'm looking for different avenues, and we have termed it, I'm going to say it on Facebook so that I'll have some type of proof. We call it buckets.
Okay.
We are establishing all these different types of streams of income, different buckets of income, so that when we get into our late 50s, mid to late 50s, early 60s, that if we are in fact still working, it's because we want to, and not because we have to.
Not because we have to.
And it starts now with just being smart. I'll share this funny statement I saw on Facebook or somewhere, and I heard your voice when I read it. It says, if you're carrying a purse, and you know I love purses, that if you don't have that same amount of money in the bank that you can pay for it outright in cash, you shouldn't be carrying that purse.
You shouldn't be carrying
it. Talk a little bit about how you keep it real with your clients about their financial spending and saving habits, and how we have to buckle down for 2020.
The most critical portion of the financial planning appointment is the budget.
Okay.
Once I finish that appointment, in most cases, I have to end and we have to resume the following week, same time. Okay? Because as they're telling me, I'm asking them, what do you spend for housing? And okay, Comcast, your mortgage, your rent, your gas bill, your ADT. As they're telling me, I'm adding them up. So by the time we get to the end, I just recap and I'll say, okay, let's go back to your paycheck again. Okay, so you got a copy of the paycheck? And they might say, yeah, this is what it is. And I'll say, okay, so you're making $98,000 a year. And they'll say, yeah, and your bonus was $6,000 a year. Is that on average? Is that every quarter? No, it's on average. Okay, so that means that roughly we're bringing in, about $104,000 a year? Okay, back out of that, you spend roughly about, just say for sake of numbers, $27,000 in taxes. And they're like,
about a third.
Yeah, about a third. Okay, so that's leaving us with roughly about $73,000 left, right? Okay. And they're like, yeah. And I just want to make sure we're engaging in conversation, because now I'm giving them a visual of their financial picture.
Okay.
And I'll go back to the budget and I'll say, okay, so I'm gonna give you this notepad, and for the next 7 days, I want to track your spending. And they're like, what? Because we have determined that you bring in about you take home about $79,000, and they're like, yes, okay. Now that they're a little annoyed, like you said this 3 times. I heard you. Yes, okay. However, with all of your spending, including you putting money in your 401k, including you putting money in your IRA because you have this little gig on the side, you're only spending $62,000 a year. So where is the other
$15,000, $16,000, $17,000
going? And they are just sitting there. They're like, what? So now they're thinking,
it's that real number.
Wait a minute. So I go back and I say, okay, I know this was a lot. So I just need you to just recap your spending. Every time you spend, you write it in this little notebook. And when we reconvene next week, I'm going to go over that book with you. And they're like, okay, fine. But you would be amazed at the people that call me 36 hours into this process and say, look, Delta, I have been writing down everything. That's a big number. I don't know. So if you don't mind, I know this is not my appointment, but I've been thinking about this. I've been having a sleepless night. Can you just help me through this process? That lets me know that the wheels are spinning. And not only are the wheels spinning, people want to make sure that they're transparent to themselves. Because they're thinking, I don't make enough. I need to get another job. Or but they are making enough. It is that debit card, because of the fact that we're going to a cashless society, that enables us and kind of puts us at a disadvantage because you don't realize how much money you're spending. You're just swiping your card.
Unless you are me. Why do I log on to my bank account like 4 or 5 times a day? Carry the one. I still have the manual type registry to say, okay, this is all I can have this week for luxury. And when I get to that, whatever, if it's 100 or 200, it's it. I'm like, well, I'm out of bounds here because I hear your voice. That's one thing I will warn you. If you take Delta on as your financial advisor, get used to just having her voice in your head. As pleasant as her voice is, as pleasant as her smile and demeanor are, she will continue to live in your head to say, I shouldn't be doing this. I have a running joke with my friends, those who work with you too. I said, I see you, I'm telling Delta. If they're doing something or buying something that's what we call out of bounds. But I really am so glad that we're having this conversation, and I want people to, again, know how to contact you, because there are going to be some people who will inbox me, and that's fine as well, to just say, now, what's her name again? Where is she? And how can I get in touch with her so I can make my appointment? Because 2020 is coming, everybody, and I want you to get on this financial fitness train. They always see me working out and everything, but I'm financially fit too because of you. And so please tell them again, what do we need to do?
You need to contact Atled Financial at 219-513-3710 to schedule your complimentary consultation. Again, that is 219-513-3710. And if you are not in Northwest Indiana or Chicago proper, that is fine, because I'm licensed in 19 states. So we can Zoom, we can Skype, we can get the job done.
I love it.
What you need to do is you need to sit with the financial advisor, and that should be on your resolution for 2020 as number one.
Number one.
Going to sit with a financial advisor and get my financial affairs intact.
I love it. And so what I'm going to be doing, I want everybody to make sure that they're following Atled Financial. And true story trivia, Atled is Delta spelled backwards. See that? So that's your way of remembering it. But over the next few days on our Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts, I'm going to be posting the links of all of your articles for this year. You know, you do one once a month, and it's kind of like that recap of all the things Delta has been trying to tell us month after month. Some refer to family, some refer, this last one, we're talking to our ladies. No disrespect to the men, but ladies, we really have to come to the table with our finances, because our parents and grandparents a lot of times were in circumstances where I just let my husband handle everything. Yes. And then if something happened to the husband, it was like you're digging for policies. And then a sandwich generation, there's an article you wrote about that. People like me who maybe taking care of children, mm-hmm. and also taking care of a parent. I'm not taking care, but have an elderly parent, right, to ensure that information is intact.
You know where things are when they're not able to speak to one another. I mean, speak to you, but they're still here, but they just cannot speak when you're asking those questions. And what is really, really so important is this was during the time of the year when you could do benefits on your place with your place of employment. Mm-hmm. Well, not only do you need to do the benefits at the place of employment, you need to check your benefits at home. Mm-hmm. Who do you have as your beneficiaries? People that are close to you, your parents. Who are their beneficiaries? Mm-hmm. I had a client whose mother died. Well, I sat down and did all the paperwork. She had some policies before my time. One of the sons were on the policy as a beneficiary. He's been dead. So now, luckily, she had not updated it. Luckily, I had a copy of the death certificate, so I was able to send that along with the letter so that they could redistribute his portion and give to the siblings, because he did not have any children or he was not married. So again, just making sure that your documents are intact, mm-hmm. making sure that someone knows where your information is. Yeah. A lot of people say, I don't want to share that information. I don't want them to know all my business. Mm-hmm. Let someone know. You see those billboards, unclaimed assets. Mm-hmm. A lot of that comes from people not telling someone in confidence the funds that they have, the policies that they have, the stock positions that they have. Left a job, didn't say anything to anyone. You were vested at that job. As a result, now you've gone to glory, but they have a retirement plan for you.
Wow, this is so critical. So I'm going to say this now for 2020. What I'm going to do when you do each of your articles, we're going to do a monthly chat like this. It's just where we come in and we talk through some of these details, because some people just, I don't want to hear this right now. I'm in Target right now, mm-hmm. and I'm shopping for the holidays. And Delta, I'm going to talk to you later. But you're going to see and hear more from us about this, because if it works for me, and I'm telling you from a place of experience, but I'll add one more layer and we'll close out. You have made my husband a believer. So I've been on him since elementary school. And then, us dating and things like that. We were young. We started hanging out in our late 20s, early 30s. So those weren't the conversations that we've had. And then we started to get older and more mature. And I'm talking about you all the time. And I'm talking about, here's what we need to do. And he was kind of on the fence, like, okay, we have some savings accounts. That's enough. And then once I started showing how things were turning around portfolio-wise, and you got him on board, got him covered. And so I say that to say that even the person who is most removed from that financial world saying, we'll take care of it later, if you can get him on board, I'm telling everybody else, you all need to get your financial house in order. It's that peace of mind that I feel like if something major really happens now, mm-hmm. if I need to drop what I'm doing and travel to see about a loved one, I'm no longer like, let me get 1, 2, 3. If I put 200 on this card and 300 on this card and 4 on this one, then I can get together and get a plane ticket. I mean, things that simple come up when we start to talk about our finances. Mm-hmm. So I am indebted to you. I just want to thank you for trusting me, one, with your brand, but helping me to develop a portfolio and a savings plan that I can say, I sleep well at night now, thanks to Delta Jones Walker, Atled Financial. Please follow her on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And we're going to come back each month, give some more tips. But in the meantime, I hope she'll be telling me how many of you have called her office, 219-513-3710, and have made your appointments. But until then, I want to wish you and your family a very happy holiday and a blessed new year. And I can't wait for all the things we have in store in 2020.
Well, thank you very much, Chelsea. And I wish you and your husband and your family a happy holidays. And to the listening audience, Atled Financial, Delta Jones Walker, and C-Wit, Who You Wit, wish you a happy holidays, and we look forward to having our monthly discussions with you in 2020. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. We'll see you soon. And we're signing out.
Okay. Okay.
And we're signing out on this one.